Hey guys, it's Emily Johnson with Gracious Healing. A couple years back, I went to a conference and heard this quote for the first time. Since then, I've heard it repeated several other times through different forms and platforms. Every time I hear it, it just registers something with me. If genetics load the gun, then the environment pulls the trigger. As a mom, that really resonated because sometimes we get so caught up in the genetics and maybe why our kids are struggling with certain health things, and we think maybe it's just better testing, and that's why all these things like autism are on the rise, or learning disabilities, or autoimmune diseases, or inflammation, chronic fatigue. We kind of tend to look at some of those and we say, well, it's genetic. But if it's not genetic, what if it's our environment? What if our environment is what's pulling the trigger that's cascading all of these diseases and issues in our children? As moms, we have the ability, we have the knowledge, we have the instinct to be able to help our children be their best self. But often that is stripped away. I would say generations ago, most likely when most of our moms or grandmothers were raising children, they were taught that they had this motherly instinct. They had a grandfather instinct. They had a father instinct. They had this ability to be able to read their children, who they know, who they love, who they see all the time. They know where their temperature normally is. They know what their personality normally is. They know what makes them happy and what makes them sad, and they know them. Most of us, from the minute our babies are born, we're experts on our children. Since then, there was a shift. All of a sudden, parents and grandparents were told that they no longer had that instinct. They no longer had that ability to be able to decide what was best for their children. And those were handed over to professionals. Whether that's medical, education, emotional, spiritual, often we're very quick in our society to hand over our children to a professional, to someone who has letters behind their name. And I'm here today to tell you that God has given you the ability to understand your child, to know your child, to be able to implement things that can give them a better life, that we can change that statistic. So as we enter into what I am planning for a series of videos really looking at family wellness, things that you can do at home to hopefully empower the parent, to hopefully help them see that they have the ability to help their children live a better life. We're going to look at a few reasons why I believe chronic illness is on the rise. Whether that chronic illness be a diagnosis or a emotional state or just allergies, things like that are just seemingly skyrocketing. Again, I don't believe that testing has gotten better. While there are some aspects of testing that have improved, I think those testings have come from the need to have better testing because we're seeing such a large rise. Those things would be things like toxicity. We have so much toxicity, whether that's in our hygiene products, to our food, to our environment, to the things that we clean with. We have toxicity everywhere, and this can play a major role in why our bodies cannot function the way that they were designed to. Then we look at stress. We live in a very stressful environment, a very stressful world. We're often running kids from one activity to the next. This is going to affect their hormones. It's going to affect our adrenals, whether that's mom or child. We're going to run ourselves, we're burning ourselves on both ends because we're not getting enough sleep and we're overstressing our system. We're looking at things like food and what is in our food, and we're, again, eating a lot of processed foods that are contributing to that toxicity, as well as killing off so much of the good microbiome and the good bacteria. We are using things like hand sanitizer all the time that, again, are killing these bacteria that we are meant to live with, that we are meant to coexist with. They do benefit us. We're also going to look at radiation and EMFs. These are everywhere, from the microwave to the Wi-Fi to 5G outside and cell towers, including the device your child is most likely holding in their hand right now. I can say this because my children struggle with this deep desire to want to be on electronics all of the time. These are all contributing factors to the decline of our health. But as parents, we get to arm ourselves with knowledge. We get to arm ourselves with tools to create a massive tool belt that we can look at our children and ourselves. And when we know things aren't right, or we see things, just because something in society is normal does not make it how our body should function. Just because something is common, like seasonal allergies, does not mean that that is normal. That does not mean that that is how God designed our bodies to function. Let's change the narrative. Let's change the way our kids think that they should feel and that they should move. There is something better out there, both for them as well as for us. While there may be times we need to seek professional help to be able to really identify the root cause of a chronic issue, there are amazing tools that we do have the ability to use. This is why I created the Family Wellness Guide. This will be available in PDF form for free as long as you subscribe to my newsletter, as well as a series of videos going into a little bit more depth and understanding at what some practical ways that you can do to help bring vitality and life to your family. Thank you for watching this video. Do me a huge favor and like this video and share it with a friend. We'll see you next time.